This segment is brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers.
Welcome back to Farm Factor and the Kansas Soybean Update.
This is the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Susan Sankey, General Manager of the Kansas State Fair, is joining us. And Susan, soybean producers still have time to enter the Soybean Plant Show competition at the Kansas State Fair, and it's being sponsored by the Kansas Soybean Commission. So what's the deadline, and how can producers enter that competition?
The deadline for this year's entries is August 15th. But people can still enter even after that date with a fee. But if they enter between now and August 15th, it's at no cost.
With this being the Soybean Plant Show, are there any suggestions on how farmers should choose their individual soybean plants?
Well, there are a couple of suggestions that have come from the Agriculture Superintendent for the State Fair. And those recommendations are to select the more mature plants, to consider taller plants with the most pods, and those that are free from any insect damage and disease, and no off-colored leaves, and plants that are uniform in pod size and fill that's uniform.
You'll have 4 different categories based on the maturity levels?
Correct. There are 4 classes that are offered this year: the Maturity Class 2, Maturity Class 3, Maturity Class 4, and 5.
And as always, there will be cash awards for the top placers.
We've got premiums awarded for the division of first, which is $30, the second place, $25, third place, which is $20, and then fourth, $15, and then the overall champion of the division will receive $100. And we're grateful for the sponsorship from the Kansas Soybean Commission.
Do you happen to know when those will be judged?
Usually the entries that come in before the fair, and we try to have everything judged on that first day, which is September the 8th.
If people want more information about that, want to enter, and obviously they can do that after the August 15th deadline, what's the best way they can do that?
Well, the best way to do it is to go to the website, kansasstatefair.com, and click on the information for the competition. They can also call the State Fair at 620-669-3600 and talk to somebody in competitive exhibits who can give them all the details and guidelines on how to enter.
And how important is it to have sponsorships like the Kansas Soybean Commission doing a specific contest like this?
We can only do these things because of the support that the State Fair gets from the partners and the people that we work with. So the sponsorship by the Kansas Soybean Commission is really important to help promote that industry in Kansas and to keep that level of interest high and to make sure that we get good entries. But it's really due to the sponsorships that we have and the partnerships to make that possible.
Susan, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Hey, thank you.
Susan Sankey, General Manager of the Kansas State Fair, joins us on the Kansas Soybean Update. It's brought to you by the Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, progress powered by Kansas farmers. Learn more at kansassoybeans.org. For Kansas Soybeans, I'm Greg Akagi.
Hope you enjoyed this week's Kansas Soybean Update. Stay with us after the break for more Farm Factor with Dwayne Taves and Paul Sundberg.
This Medford, New Jersey school bus runs on biodiesel, and so do these. In fact, all of these buses run on clean-burning biodiesel, which is great because the more we use biodiesel in our heavy-duty vehicles, the less carbon pollution in our air. Think how great it would be if more of our school buses ran on biodiesel. More biodiesel, less carbon pollution. More is less. Biodiesel, America's advanced biofuel.